Audio recording has begun. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'll start this off by saying I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know, this is probably very confusing. Okay, so I didn't know what to do for this week because usually I have a list of things that I want to make. So there'll be something like, the best ways to learn motion graphics for Blender. That was one of them. But in researching, I couldn't find enough, or I just didn't research for long enough. Sometimes if I don't do that, I'll make like a piece of artwork and then show you how that's done. And I did start making something. It wasn't really good enough to do anything with. Sometimes I'll do project updates, and I did do some of those, but there wasn't really anything substantial enough to talk about. So we have a bit of an issue. There's all of these unfinished projects, all of these unfinished videos, and none of them are good enough for this week's video. So I thought, let's mess around, have a bit of fun. I've got all this stuff that I can't use because I don't have the right amount of space for it yet. This green screen is one of them. Basically, if you're unaware, let me just turn the fan up a bit because it's starting to get hot here in England. Anyway, I have had a dream of having a studio, a large studio space to make all kinds of different projects, not just Blender related things. There's all sorts I want to do in like nearly every type of creative field possible, but I just haven't had the space to start working on that kind of stuff yet. So we are currently trying to move out, so hopefully maybe this year I should have a bigger space, but we'll see how that pans out. But the entire business so far, like my website, the YouTube, all the different projects and products, has been grown and run from inside of this 2.5 by 2.5 meter room. Now I have tons of equipment and spare computers and all kinds of stuff that I want to make use of, but I just don't have the space. So I thought, well, now that I don't know what to do, let's just play around and have a bit of fun. All right, I'll tell you about some of the random small things I've been doing. So I mentioned in the previous video that Holt Tools got a small fixed duplicates update for replacing duplicated node groups in Blender. There was a bit of a bug with that. It wasn't really a bug, it was just kind of related to default settings in certain files. That's been fixed now, so EasyBPY has been updated and Holt Tools has been updated. On my website, I'm working on a new type of wiki, which is more of a blog format, because I hate regular documentation for projects, because trying to keep documentation up to date and following syntax is so boring, no one can do it. I mean, even Blender has a terrible problem with this as well. Maybe I shouldn't say that because they might have fixed it by now, but drama. So I like the idea of doing documentation that's more visually stimulating and easier to read. So that's why if you take a look at the EasyBPY page on my website, it's all very colorful. There's lots of lovely pictures. I think it's just a more enjoyable process to kind of familiarize yourself with the project. So I want to extend that to more documentation type stuff. So I like the idea of doing like a blog type wiki where we can link to different blog pages. It'll be mostly text and we can have images in there. It'll be more like articles, so text-based tutorials, but formatted in a way that contains all the information that you would have had on a documentation anyway. Anyway, it's just an idea. You can clearly tell that I haven't really gone too far with this, so that's why I'm not making a video about it. So I started making some more artwork. I haven't really gone too far with it, but I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky recently, which is a game that I really like, but I've been having a lot more fun with it now recently than I ever did before, but it's probably because they keep adding more new stuff to it like all the time. But in that game, I have my own lovely mountain base, which is like my kind of calm, relaxing place I'll go to, and it's on a snowy planet, so I like just a comforting feeling of snowy trees and all stuff like that, especially at night time where you've got the stars going. I know it's all very pretty. But I thought, hey, let's try and capture that mood a bit in a piece of artwork. So as you can see, somewhere here, I guess, it's got the kind of very No Man's Sky-esque alien-y column with some writing on it. And then these trees are from the Botanic pack from Blender Market. Maybe I'll leave an affiliate link down below. But when making this, I thought, okay, well, this is very pretty. I could do all different variations of this and turn it into another animated short, just like the Epoch one. And I think that would be nice to do at some point, because then I can do another breakdown for that. But when it comes to making shorts like this, I need to think about monetization as well, because this is a business. And I always like the idea of making artistic shorts and then selling the final files. But the thing is, I keep using third-party assets for these because it's just too fun, like Botanic. So what I realistically should do is start making my own nature-based assets. So I might get around to doing that as well, and then I will make them available to everyone else. Okay, so let's talk about something completely random. I have no idea what's here. This is just green for me. Hello. Affiliates and products. So you know me, I like making products. I like selling resources, free and paid. I give most of my stuff away for free, which a few people seem to forget when I put a price tag on something new. And I do love making products, but there's been this interesting conundrum when thinking about time investments from a business standpoint, because this channel has now kind of reached a point where it's more cost effective. Is that the term? It's a better time investment to do affiliate advertisement videos than it is to make products. So what I mean is the amount of money I would make from making products and selling them is now less than I would get from just mentioning someone else's product. Now that's to do with the audience size, but it's also a lot to do with like the subjects of the videos. You see, when I talk about some affiliate products, they get like almost no traction, and then other ones will get just so much traction because they're really handy, really helpful, and they probably already have quite a lot of community interest anyway. And I consider it part of my job as a communicator, I suppose, to tell people what those products can do and how they can use them to improve their own workflows. Now, I'm a bit of a creative obsessive, so if I don't make stuff, I will start getting really anxious and go a little bit jittery. So I'm not going to stop making products anytime soon, but I've just been trying to find a way to make myself more comfortable with the idea of doing it from a time investment standpoint. So if you're interested in numbers, I can't give any specifics, especially about what I earn or what specific other people have earned, but cumulatively, did I say that right? Over the last kind of 2 and a bit years, 2 to 3 years, I think I know the amount that I've kind of raised for other Blender creators in total. So we're going to cut to me from the past, trying to figure out how to set up this green screen, and I will leave you with the anticipation of finding out what that number is. $130,000. So yeah, roughly about $130,000 over this kind of 2 to 3 year period, which I think is quite cool. It's really nice to be able to help other Blender creators or make a living out of what they're doing. So of course that spans anything from courses and educational content to artistic resources and useful tools. The 2 most popular things I've seen over the years have been the Blender 2.8 Launchpad course by CG Boost. This came at a very key time because in 2019, Blender 2.8 was really popping off, as the kids say. I'm only 25. So there was just a lot of hype for 2.8. I put my video out, the best ways to learn Blender 2.8, and that really kind of took off. And I should also say that it came at a time when I was really struggling as well in terms of medical issues. I think I had a bit of a parasitic infection. I was basically out of action for a month. So that video came at a really good time. So thank you very much, Zach. He's been lovingly helping to support this channel for quite a while now. And the other one was the more recent human generator. And they've just released version 2 now, by the way. So I mentioned a few of the really cool new features coming. There's like a fax-based facial rig system, and you can now kind of like scale different joints independently. There's lots of really cool things. So I'll probably leave those affiliate links down below as well. I think these are probably like the highest value things I've spoken about on the channel so far. But of course, the other courses are pretty good as well. But anyway, as you can tell, I'm going to give you a bit of an insider perspective from the YouTuber stance. It means that I've gotten lots of requests from people that want me to talk about their own products. Now, I don't want to be exploitative in that way. I'm not just going to talk about every single product that people want me to. I'm only going to talk about it if I think it's got some real good value that you can apply to your own workflows, or if the educational content is actually useful. I don't like the idea of just cramming in as much as I can because I don't think there's a good sense of value from that. I want you to feel like when you come to these videos, you can walk away with something that's actually going to give you some good value. So with that in mind, I want to take a minute to talk about affiliate etiquette. If you're a creator and you want to affiliate for something popular, so say there's a new course or a new tool or something, and you message the creator and you say, hey, can I be an affiliate for you? I want to, talk about your product. First of all, they don't have to say yes, and that's fine. If they do say yes, they're allowed to pick whatever percentage they like. I mean, the general average in this community is about 20%, but it really depends on the product or the relationship between the people and everything. I tend to give my close friends 40% of my product revenue when they affiliate for me, because it really is a win-win situation. To be honest, I don't really understand people that go any lower than that, because these aren't sales that would have been made anyway. Plus, it also encourages the person to talk about your product more. So like with my products, other creators have left them in the descriptions because they have higher percentage rates. So you get more click-throughs and it just appears in more searches. So to be honest, if you're a creator that has a product and you have affiliate partners, give them a higher percentage. Trust me, it's going to help you out. Another thing is, if you ask to affiliate for a product creator, they might be nice enough to give you a free copy of the product, but they don't have to. It's their choice at the end of the day. Now, talking about value and not being exploitative, You will know this if you've been watching me for a while, but I love to throw in free content as well because I don't like putting just paid stuff in. I don't want to be just like an advertiser and a bit of a shill for all of the paid products. So whenever I do the best ways to learn X or Y videos, I always try and throw in some free content. And when I can, content that comes from people with smaller audiences, because I really think that we should be helping other people to grow. YouTube is an interesting space, and I think a lot of people still have the wrong impression that it's a very competitive space. That's not really how it works, especially not in the Blender community. YouTube is designed to keep people on the platform. So they'll be recommending people similar videos from similar subjects in an attempt to get those audience members to bounce around videos, and those recommendations won't be just for the same channel. So there's a misconception, I think, that if one person does something about, well, let's pick a random thing, armatures, and then another person does a very similar video, that these are somehow in competition. They're not. What's going to happen is those audience members are going to bounce between those two videos. So by those two people having both that type of content out at once, it's going to help each other to grow. The creative side of YouTube is not necessarily a competitive space, so I just think that anyone that wants to get into making videos for YouTube but feel like they don't really have anything to contribute to a space, or that someone's already done the kind of content they want to make, don't worry about it, just make content. Because really the more voices we have and the greater variety of teaching methods we have, I think the entire Blender community will benefit as a whole. Okay, now I want to talk about email etiquette. Oh boy, this is an interesting one. I should start off with an apology, but I'm not really sorry about it. I don't respond to like 99% of my emails. Quite literally 99. It's very rare that I'll respond to an email. And there's lots of different reasons for that. You know, I've already got a direction for the things that I want to make. I'm not looking for a job at the moment. I'm not really looking to do anything else. I'm not looking for sponsorships because the affiliates have filled that gap. So realistically, I don't know what other people can give me. So when I get emails asking if I want to, hey, you know, do you want to do a paid promotion talking about our random company? I'm like, well, no, not really. First of all, if I was going to do a sponsorship, it has to be hyper specific, hyper focused, and again, providing good value. The only company I have sponsored for in the past is Sketchfab, and that's because they're very tightly interconnected with the Blender community. I did get asked by Skillshare to do a sponsorship, but at the time I didn't feel like it was right because I think it was Skillshare. This is going to be like a legal issue if I get this wrong, but someone had re-uploaded some of Zach Reinhardt's content onto one of these educational platforms. And at the time, it didn't feel right sponsoring for it because, of course, you know, I'd been talking about their products. I'm sure he would have been fine with it, but I just didn't feel comfortable. But look, I've never had to pick up any other sponsors, and I'm very grateful for that. And making products as well also helped with that. I remember speaking to CG Matter about this quite early on because I think he wasn't very happy with doing sponsorships all the time. So we had some little chats about what's the best way to kind of maximize the effectiveness of Gumroad and places like that. Anyway, I hope you got a pen because I'm about to say some things that I really want you to take note of. If you get my name wrong at the beginning of an email, I am not going to read it. Okay, maybe that's a bit rude because I get Chris a lot instead of Curtis, and I can kind of understand that, you know, it's got a C, and I can imagine that a lot of people are writing Curtis, but the autocorrect is changing it to Chris. That makes sense, you know, I can understand that. I've had Chris without an H. I think that one's quite interesting. But the one that I can't understand, and it's not really like a wrong name, but there are people in the community that want to reach out to video creators on YouTube. So they'll send them copy-paste emails. And I hate copy-paste emails because it just shows that you haven't really thought about who you're sending it to. But I love it when they forget to change the name in the email. So I've been called Chris Bailey, I've been called Arendale. I've had people that say, hey, Curtis Holt, like in the subject, and then put like a different creator's name in the actual body. And I'm just like, put a bit more effort into it than that, please. I mean, it's entertaining, but like I can see through it. I know this is a copy-paste email. Another thing I want to make clear, and I don't want to be too rude here, but if you ask me for a video call and I don't know who you are, f*** off. Because I'm not jumping into a video call in my free time when I could be spending it with other people, with someone I don't know, talking about something I probably won't care about. So I'm very sorry, and I'm sorry to be rude about that, but if you do have a cool project idea and you want to get me involved in some way, please, when you write the email, just give me a breakdown of what it is. Just tell me straight away. I don't want to have to, you know, go through this whole puzzle with figuring out whether or not it's something interesting. And to be honest, this is where we should talk about transparency, because if you are unable to give me a good summary of your project and why you think I should be part of it in the first email, then you're probably being a bit deceptive, and I'm not falling for it. Now, we've been doing a lot of talking so far, and I'm not sure exactly when this is supposed to end because I didn't have a plan. I was afraid of making a plan. I just wanted to start making a video. I don't know if I told you, but at the end of last year, we got a new dog, a lovely Cocker Spaniel called Penny. She's been a fantastic addition to the family. and she's just the sweetest thing ever, and she's like a fantastic stress relief. So I just wanted to share it with you because hopefully there's some other dog lovers out there. So please enjoy this footage of my precious little baby. I've been dealing with some medical issues on and off, but I mean, that's nothing new because like I mentioned earlier, in 2019, I had some kind of parasitic thing going on. I also tore the lining of my colon, which was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. So I've had to kind of navigate making content around those issues. 2020 COVID, I had a lot of breathing issues, but they weren't traditional breathing issues. It was entirely subjective. I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, I know what causes it, but if I explain it, you won't believe me. And there's going to be a bunch of like armchair doctors in the comments and they're going to say, actually, did you think it's this? No, we went through months of testing. I know what causes it. The long story short is I went through weeks and weeks and weeks of being unable to feel breath in my lungs. There was air, my blood oxygen was fine, but I felt like I was suffocating every single day. It was horrible. Moving on. Recently, my benign positional vertigo has been playing up, so I was practically bedridden for a couple of days, but thankfully I'm feeling better now. There are some other issues, but one of the things I always look forward to after dealing with these medical issues is coming back and looking at my YouTube studio, reading some hate comments and death threats. So fantastic. I'm joking, by the way. Well, not about the death threat. There was one of them, but most people are fantastic. And it's really nice reading the comments for people enjoying all the content. By the way, I do read every single new comment on YouTube, except for comment replies, because on the YouTube studio, it just provides us with a feed of every new individual comment. It's not going to show us like old comments and all the replies that come under those. So if you've left a new comment on my videos, I have read it. I've read every single new comment that's ever been put on my channel, which I probably shouldn't say, because if there was anyone that wanted to leave something very hateful and they weren't sure if I was going to see it, well, I will. Did you know that you can also get your hands on some Curtis Holt merchandise? Oh yes, we have a Teespring account. And to be honest, I mean, I don't expect anyone to buy that stuff. I'm not like, you know, a kind of big, super popular YouTuber. I just make Blender content mostly. But realistically, the reason I've set up that merch store is because I want to buy my own merchandise. So when we go to things like the Blender conference, I can wear my logo and just have, you know, a bunch of other fun things. So I've got like a mug with the logo on it. I haven't gone too crazy though, don't worry. It's not like I have a giant tapestry or something. Although, to be fair, like my idea for that was when I did finally get a studio space, I was going to hang it up on a wall and maybe it'd be like a cool background for something. So it's not like I just wanted my own kind of pirate flag with my logo on it. All right, well, I don't know how to end this video. I don't know if there's anything else important or interesting. This has just been a complete mess. But I don't know, for the people that reach the end of the video, maybe I'll do like a 50% off something. Yeah, let's do that. 50% off. Modular metals, ambient grunge. I think that's it. And we'll do that for about a week, I guess. So yeah. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully this hasn't induced any seizures or given you any like secondhand cringe. Remember, you can sign up to my Patreon if you want to support my work. I promise you that the next video will be a lot more sensible and less selfish, and something that will contribute more to the Blender community, or maybe not just the Blender community, maybe other communities as well. I love you. I love my job. I love making things for people. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. The creative side of YouTube is not necessarily a competitive space, and I think that should be put into the head of everyone who's trying to make videos for Blender.